Hey, it's Stacy. I'm here with some tips. So today's tip has to do with an independent educational evaluation. So often I get parents will call me and say, I want to get an independent evaluation for my child who's in school, and I want the school district to pay for it. So my first question always is, well, have you requested a psychoeducational evaluation from your school? And sometimes the parent will tell me no, because they feel like maybe the school district's psychologist will be slanted one way or another, and they're just not comfortable with that. So there's a bit of an issue of trust there. Sometimes they will tell me yes, and they weren't really happy and they didn't agree with the findings. A parent does have the right to a independent educational evaluation. So you can find that information in IDEA, and I will put a link here so that you can kind of see what the law says about that exactly. But what I find to be most effective is to be very much a part of your reevaluation plan meeting or your evaluation plan meeting if it's for the first time. Um, but be a part of that. Share how your child breaks down information, where their strengths are, where their weaknesses are, because all that information will help the school psychologist figure out what tool to use. Because there is a huge potential difference between using one assessment tool on a particular child with a particular type of learning versus another tool. So, for instance, if your child doesn't have a really great language base or ability to verbally communicate, then using a psychological evaluation that sort of weighs very heavily in that direction is not going to be such a great idea. And the outcomes are probably not going to be so good. But there are many tools that school psychologists can use that actually have a heavy component towards the nonverbal side, looking at a nonverbal IQ. And I've seen disparities between verbal and nonverbal IQ to be upwards of 30 points. So it can be a really significant difference for kids with those particular type of issues. So first thing you want to do is you want to be actively engaged in that sort of reevaluation plan so that everybody's talking about, who the student is and what it is that they need. And so if you do that and you really feel that the outcome of the evaluation does not accurately describe who your child is, who they are, how they think, how they process information, and really what their potential is, then you bring it to the school and you share with them that you do not feel that this is an accurate representation of who your child is. You have that discussion at the school level with the school psychologist, let them know, because they can, use another instrument and see if you guys can kind of come to a middle of the road agreement. If that's still not effective, you certainly can request an independent educational evaluation. Oftentimes what happens is the school system or your school district, your municipality, if you've got a school system that's set up that way, may ask you if they can have one of their in-house psychologists. So another psychologist with the school district, run an alternate assessment. A lot of times that's a really good idea. It's somebody who's already familiar with the system, understands how classrooms operates, maybe familiar with your particular school and how it operates. So if you choose, you can go that route. I'd say almost all the time, if I have to get a situation to that level, we get a pretty decent outcome out of that evaluation. However, if you either choose to not go that route because you've already had a lot of difficulty and you're just really struggling with the trust factor in the system, then certainly you can pursue the educational evaluation from the private sector. But you really need to have your reasons why. Because I want one is typically not such a great reason. So you want to have some decent amount of at least parent perspective, intuition. Of course, if you have any outside professionals that can support that, that would be fabulous. But I find that when the teams collaborate together and the parent really shares the information about their child and how they learn and how they see them learn, and certainly gather information also from your teacher. And I just think that that's really your best case scenarios.